which is the beginning of a new year. Welcome to the show. Happy New Year. I hope you guys are doing well through all of this holiday celebrating. And I just thought that I would get into the spirit with you. We'll be shaking these along the way. If you have anything that you want to grab, go ahead and grab it and we can be festive together. So I don't want to bug anyone with all of these, but aren't these fun? I love these glasses. And I know I'm kind of going off. There's different settings. This one is terrible. But this second one I think is fun. Anyways, I just thought I would bring a little extra fun to start off the show. And I just want to say hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Jennifer Diamond channel. And if you're new here, my name is Jennifer Diamond, and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach living a whole food, plant-based lifestyle for health and well-being. And it literally gave me my life back. It literally did. And I know that it can help you with yours too. I'm gluten-free and SOFAs-free, salt, flour, alcohol, sugar, and oil-free. So anyways, I'm super excited to be here with all of you today. And I'd like to say hello to everyone and check the chat. Go ahead and say hello in the chat and tell me where you're tuning in from if we're not familiar, or if you are watching this as a replay, you can still comment and ask questions. I always respond to you as soon as I can. So I just want to say hello, Jill Caperton 1568. Hey, it's so good to have you. And Mona Arendt 6384. Hello, everyone. And please don't be shy. We are happy to welcome you here in the chat. And then I can, just say hello to you officially. So anyways, during today's live, we are going to be talking about nothing more than, pomegranates. One of the most ancient, symbolic, nutrient-dense fruits on the planet. And then later, I'll be making a super simple recipe with them that's great for this upcoming New Year's Eve if you're going to a party, or hey, your party could just be for one. It's a really festive and simple recipe. And of course, you don't have to wait till the holiday. You can make it anytime that you can get your hands on pomegranates. So let's start with where and how pomegranates are grown. So pomegranates grow on trees and thrive. I'm not ready yet. One second. We're gonna be showing you some pictures. So pomegranates grow on trees and they thrive in warm climates. They thrive in dry conditions and long growing sessions. Now, let me pull up a photo so that you can see what I mean. And it's actually Todd that's going to be pulling up the photo. There it is. That is a pomegranate tree. And they flower first and then slowly develop into fruit over several months. So unlike some fruits, pomegranates do not ripen after they harvest. Pomegranates are one of those foods that people recognize, but they don't always know what to do with. So maybe you've seen them whole in the produce section. And so before we take this picture off, I want you to notice the bottom part there. We're going to talk about that. That's where the flower originally was, and they call that the crown. And so anyways, did you want to keep the picture up, or you're good? Oh, okay, here we are. Anyways, maybe, you've seen them whole in the produce section like I have here. These are whole pomegranates. And the part that you were seeing, they were hanging like this from the tree. And this is the part that I was talking about. We're going to talk more about all of these little features here. And maybe you buy the little containers of juicy seeds, the arils, and I've got some here. This is a 4-pack from Costco, and I did rip open the bottom so that I could just show you how they come ready to go, so that you don't have to take them out of this yourself. Or maybe you've only had pomegranate juice. And there are ways that you can make your own juice as well from the beautiful arils. But pomegranates are so much more than juice or a garnish. I'm not kidding. They're amazing. They are one of the oldest cultivated fruits, um, deeply symbolic across cultures. They're packed with unique phytonutrients and incredibly supportive of whole body health. And that's just to name a few things. So this beautiful, this is a beautiful round fruit with a story. And so let's talk a little bit about their history. So pomegranates have been cultivated for thousands and thousands of years. And if you look, we're putting up a map right here. This is showing the map of where pomegranates originated. So they're native to a region that stretches from the modern day Iran to northern India. Look at that huge dark area. Isn't that amazing? And they spread throughout the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and Asia very early in human history. But later, through trade routes, they began to arrive in Greece, North Africa, and eventually the New World. And that was like via the Spanish explorers. Now, they appear and this, I want to show another picture of art, pomegranate art. So they appear in ancient Persian art, like Greek mythology. They're in early medical texts. Isn't that amazing? Architecture and religious symbols. That is fantastic. And across different cultures, right? Pomegranates symbolize fertility. They symbolize abundance, and they symbolize life and renewal. There's so many things that pomegranate symbolizes, even prosperity and resilience, to just name a few. Did you guys know all of this about pomegranates? We're just getting into it. So I want to share, like, for example, thousands of years ago in Mesopotamia and Persia, pomegranates were one of the first cultivated fruits, and they were central to art, text, and symbolism of fertility and prosperity. And in Egypt, they were a symbol of prosperity, linked to Hathor. If you're not familiar with Hathor, Hathor, if I'm saying this correctly, is the goddess of maternal care. And they were used in rituals and placed in tombs as offerings for the afterlife. Wow. I mean, all of that from this beautiful thing here. Now, in Greece and Rome during the Bronze Age, they were featured in art linked to Persephone. And Persephone, who is a major figure in Greek mythology and known as the goddess of spring growth and vegetation, she's famously known for the maiden. She's known as Kor, I guess, the maiden and queen of the underworld. And the Bronze Age, I just want to let you know, is when they started moving from copper and different other, what is it? Metals. And then they started to use bronze. So that's why they have the Bronze Age. The pomegranate's significant in religion, and it's also impressive. So, like, a few examples of that would be Judaism or Christianity. They were praised in the Bible, Song of Solomon, recognized as a symbol of righteousness. And in some traditions, there are suggestions that the pomegranate was, do you believe it? The forbidden fruit. Okay, in Islam, pomegranates grow in the Quran, uh, Quran's Garden of Paradise, and are eaten on Yalda night in Iran to celebrate light. Now, Yalda night is an ancient Persian festival that celebrates the winter solstice, the longest night of the year. It's usually around December, what, 20th or 21st, something like that, making the symbolic triumph of light over darkness and the rebirth of the sun, as the days, continue to grow longer. So families and friends gather to stay up late. They share stories, eating symbolic red fruits like the pomegranate. And they also enjoy watermelon. That's another one. And then they like to, recite poetry, and welcome longer days and renewal. It's pretty amazing. So today's pomegranates are cultivated globally and are popular superfood. Oh, if you only knew. And if you do, hurrah. Is it hurrah? Hooray. But they are a really popular superfood, valued for health and for flavor. They're so delicious. And all that symbolism makes sense when you see one of these. A pomegranate is a single fruit containing hundreds of seeds, and each one is capable of becoming something new, a rebirth. So pomegranates are like a treasure chest full of tiny rubies inside, representing lots of happy things. Here are some of those, which you'll find inside. Happy things like family and health and future blessings. They even have what looks like this little crown on top that I already started to point out. And this one's kind of beat up a little bit, but when you were looking at the picture, it looks like a little crown, and it's just a beautiful. So from a botanical standpoint, a pomegranate is actually a berry with a thick outer rind. Then inside, and we're going to cut into one of these and check it out. There's an internal chambers and the juice-filled seeds that are called the arils. A lot of people just call them pomegranate seeds, but these are arils. And those arils are the seeds and the part that you want to eat. That's the part we eat. And they provide fiber and texture, and they're just super yummy. That's all I have to say about them. I love them. Pomegranates are meant to be a little bit messy. So they're not like a grab and go fruit like an apple, which I think invites you, me, us to slow down. I don't know about you. How many people are always rushing to eat? And digestion gets, doesn't get to really do things slowly when we're rushing. And when you eat pomegranates, it's a reminder, hey, slow down, take your time. All right, I got a question for you guys. Oh, I see Marilyn Dubin in the chat. Happy New Year. Thanks for being here. How many arils do you think are in a pomegranate? Do you know? Go ahead and put your answer in the chat. While I talk a little bit about varieties of pomegranates. So there are many varieties of pomegranates grown around the world. In fact, there are potentially over 1,200 different types. We call those cultivars of pomegranates. Though only a few dominate the commercial markets. A cultivar is like a special flavor or style of a plant that people choose to and grow because it's extra yummy, it's big and colorful and easy, or maybe it's easy to grow. And a pomegranate cultivar is just a specific kind of pomegranate, like the wonderful. And these right here are the wonderful because their sticker says Pom Wonderfuls, and I have a lot of the Pom Wonderful. The juice says wonderful. These say wonderful. These are not. And I'll just take a quick minute to tell you about these. These are organic. and they have the little sticker. I left them on here purposely, and they start with a 9. That's organic. Whereas these are not organic. These are the Palm Wonderfuls. They start with a 3. Sometimes you'll see them starting with a 4. Anything with a 3 or a 4 is conventionally grown. Look at the difference in the sizes. But is that because of the way they were grown, or is that because of the variety? Now, I was trying to figure out, what is this one, this organic one? And the sticker on here says farm to you. So just give me a second here. I looked up farm to you. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I think, let's see. Farm, it deleted it for a second. To you, pomegranate. And it was really interesting. Let's see if I could still get it here. Yes. Okay. What's interesting is that it says farm to you pomegranates likely refers to buying fresh pomegranates from a farm direct service or a retailer. And then it goes on to mention different kinds of retailers or farms that offer direct to consumer delivery, emphasizing freshness and quality, and with options ranging from whole fruit to organic juices and so on. And so what I think is really cool is that these are organic, and they were in my grocery store, and supposedly they came straight from the farm, which I think is great. Now, these we got at Whole Foods, whereas these other ones we got at some other stores. I think we got Sprouts and Natural Grocer in my area, which I really like. Didn't have any right now. And I think that's because they carry only organic, and they said they couldn't get any in. But anyhow, going back to the different kinds of pomegranates, like the Wonderful, I just wanted to talk to you about these as well. There's also one called the Red Silk, and the, oh gosh, can I say this? Parfinka? Parfianca. I was close. That has unique traits like super sweet juices or lots of seeds, making it a special kind of brand, right, of pomegranate that you can find at the stores. So these varieties differ in sizes and skin and areoles, the seeds, right, the areole colors, juice content, the sweetness, and even the tartness. And they're ranging from sweet to sour, and even like ornamental types with edible fruit. The most common variety that we see here in my area is called the Wonderful, which we talked about. Now, that's this deeply red, bold in flavor. It's a very high concentration in antioxidants. That's a buzzword, right? They transport well, which is really great. And the seeds are medium firmness, very deep in red color, and they're pretty sweet. They're really good. There are other varieties that may be sweeter, lighter in color and softer in texture. I'm going to show you a picture. Now, I am just going to talk a little bit, not necessarily of every picture that you see here, but I am going to bring up a couple different varieties. And I thought it would be fun for you to see this photo, because you can see in the background there, they're showing the pomegranates. You can see its color, and you can see the seeds, size and color, although we can't taste them. So I'll mention a few of them. There's one called Adzia. Adzia, I think that's how you, and I apologize if I'm saying this incorrectly. Azadi? Azadi. Okay, thank you. And that one has a very pleasant, sweet flavor, and it's a soft seed with a very light, pale color. Gizarski is another one. It's rose in color, sweet in flavor. There's Utah Sweet, which is unusual color blends, which is kind of fun, sweeter and fruity. There's one called Eversweet. It's a sweet variety with a soft, like really soft, edible seed. And it's often described by people as like cherry slurpee like. I've never had that one personally. There's all kinds. There's the Red Silk, which is a sweet tart grenadine flavor with dark pink fruit and dark red seeds in it. And there's just so many that it's just amazing. There's a Tom's Red, which is a large, sweet, less acidic variety with soft seeds. It's really a good one for blending. Maybe you want to make your own juice. That would be a good one. And there's the last one I'll mention is there's a Golden Globe, known for its really sweet, juicy filled arils and golden skin. So most grocery stores only carry one or two varieties, such as Wonderful or Granada, and that's because pomegranates are seasonal and they don't ship year round like, say, bananas or apples do. So I want to check the chat. How many arils are in a pomegranate? Does anyone know? Let's take a look here. Oh, we've got a guesser here. Mona stepped out of her and wrote here 178. I love that. I love that. Jill Caperton says, I would say around 200. Okay. And those are great guesses. And, there's a lot that depends on it. But a pomegranate, are you ready? Typically contains 600 to 1,000 edible seeds or arils. Now, though this number, it can range from around 400 on the smaller size to over 1,400, depending on the fruit size, the variety. We talked about so many of those, and the growing conditions, with some varieties that are averaging around 800 to 900 arils. So you can get about 1 cup of arils from like a medium pomegranate, and that's just an average. Thank you so much for telling me your guesses. What do you think about that? So let's talk a minute about how to pick a ripe one. So when you're looking for a ripe pomegranate, I look for them based on several different characteristics, right? So they should have a flat, angular sides rather than being perfectly round. Because, and I want to see, can we do an overhead? I think it might be easier. If you see, well, you could, yeah, see how there's like these flat sides here, this is this way because the arils kind of swell. And this is really good in terms of how we're going to get into this thing. We want to be able to see. It's kind of like some division. So that's one thing that you want to look for. The skin should be firm, really firm, smooth, and, maybe like slightly leathery looking. It should be very taut. You don't want it soft. You don't want it shrivelly looking. And also, I should put it here. If you tap on one, tap, it should sound like a hollow sound, right? Thank you, honey. And of course, we talked about this crown, and they call it the calyx. That's the crown here. And before a pomegranate becomes a fruit, it starts as a flower, and the calyx is the remnants of the dried flower at the top. So this should be firm and curled inward on a ripe pomegranate. And, some of these, do you want to go back and show, like this is kind of curled inward, see? And this one, it looks like a couple of them broke off, but it's also curled inward. These organic ones don't look like they have them. They broke off, but you can see they're kind of sticking up like a real crown. And I'll show these on the side. Let's see if you could see that really well. So this one, oh, did you want to bring it back one more time? So this one, it looks like it's bent out. I don't think that has anything to do with it not being ripe. I think it just got bent when it dried out. But you want to make sure to check for those things. Okay, thank you, honey. So, and then of course the color. The color is going to depend and vary by the type, right? Red or yellow or pink. But it should be deep and even. The thing you want to avoid is areas on a pomegranate that are green. Unless it's a green one that it's supposed to be green, you don't really want to find green on your pomegranate. So harvest season is typically late summer through fall, which is why the pomegranates are often associated with autumn and winter holidays where we live here in the US. Okay, here is another question. Are you ready? Does anyone know why pomegranates are considered a superfood? And I want to know. I just want to check the chat. Jill Caperton 1568 says, wow, I never thought there were that many. Yes, and she's talking about how many seeds or arils are in here. It's amazing how many are in a pomegranate. All right, so while you guys are hopefully answering the question of why pomegranates are considered a superfood, let's talk about storing our pomegranates. So when stored properly, the whole pomegranate can last weeks. It can last months even, but it's got to be in a cold place. Okay, so to store the whole pomegranates, keep them in a cool, dry, ventilated spot for like 1 to 2 weeks, or you can put them in the refrigerator for up to 2 months. But once they're seeded, once you cut them open and they're seeded, then store the arils in a airtight container in the fridge for like 5 to 7 days. Or better yet, you can freeze them on a tray and then transfer them to a bag or, some kind of whatever you put your freezer stuff in. And you should be able to freeze them for up to a year. And that is ensuring that they are dry. That's a trick there. That's a key thing. They need to be dry before you're freezing. So don't wash before storing, and keep them away from ethanol producing fruit. I'm sorry? Did you guys hear that? Oh, you don't have your thing on. Okay. You want to keep them away from ethylene producing fruits like apples, bananas, avocados, cantaloupe, peaches, pears, even tomatoes, because they release that gas, and which is a natural hormone that dramatically speeds up the ripening process, and then it spoils our other produce like these guys, and that will cause your pomegranate to lose quality, develop brown spots, or rot a lot faster than they should. So that's a tip. You can store them at room temperature for the short term, for sure. Keep them on the counter away from your direct sunlight, and they should be good for a few weeks. Another thing is never wrap them in plastic. Yikes. So when they're in their whole form, we do not want them in plastic, because plastic, it can trap the moisture in, and it can cause the pomegranate to spoil faster. So once you cut into one, like I said, you're going to want to store the arils in an airtight container in the refrigerator, and you should be good for up to a week unless you're freezing. Okay, now I tend to store them longer, but that's just me. I just keep them until I'm ready to go, and they've been okay for me. But you're just going to want to make sure that you know how they're looking, and hopefully you won't be storing them because they're so delicious. You just want to enjoy them. Okay, now I know I mentioned you can freeze them. I want to tell you, if you don't want to freeze them, I was able to find these, and I have them sitting on ice in our freezer section. And these are organic. They call them pomegranate kernels. I was so excited to find these, and I don't find them all the time, and I don't find them in all stores, but this brand is Woodstock. And if you are, your store carries this, if this is something that you're interested in, it's really nice and simple. And then you have it ready to go year round if you have them frozen like that. Okay. So if you want to do it yourself, how long can they freeze? A year, but some of them say up to 3 months. I guess it just depends. I go for the longer one. All right, let's check the chat and see. Does anyone know why pomegranates are considered a superfood? Do we have anybody saying anything? Oh, Jill says nope. She doesn't know. Okay, let's see. Oh, Mona has a face, but I wonder what she was talking about the number. But yes, we're moving on now. Mona says antioxidants. That's why she thinks it's considered a superfood. That's an excellent, excellent guess. Marilyn Dubin says it contains more nutrients than most foods. Yes, they do. They do. Okay, so let's read about, not read about it, but let's talk about what the answer is. Okay, pomegranates are considered a superfood because their bioactive compounds offer benefits beyond the basic nutrition. So, actively promoting health and preventing disease. Now, pomegranates have an extremely high concentration of potent antioxidants, which was mentioned here by Mona, and that would be like polyphenols or how do you say the punicalogens? Punicalogens. You got to get your, they can hear you? Okay. And we're going to talk about those a little bit more in a little minute. It's hard sometimes for me to remember how to pronounce some of these, so I appreciate your help, Todd, when I need it. They also contain flavonoids, which fight inflammation and repair cell damage. I'm always about fighting inflammation and repairing cell damage. Okay, so here you have this beautiful fruit that you're eating and enjoying, and it's got those wonderful benefits. Plus, like I mentioned earlier, they're rich in fiber and vitamin C and vitamin K and potassium and folate, and they support heart health, reducing disease risks like cancer and heart disease, to name a few, and they improve our circulation, making them a nutrient superfood that are packed with protective plant compounds. What do you think of that, guys? They're considered a nutrient-dense fruit with medicinal properties, offering significant anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and cardioprotective benefits, like I just had to repeat because it's so amazing. But it's really those polyphenols that make them special, right? So these include punicalogens. Punicalogens. Can you say that 10 times fast? I can't. I'd have to practice. But punicalogens. So these are unique, powerful antioxidants found almost exclusively in the pomegranate. In the pomegranate, especially in the peel and the juice surrounding the arils, which are the seeds. So they're responsible for much of the pomegranate's strong antioxidant capacities. In the body, the punicalogens help neutralize the free radicals. You guys are familiar with that, I'm sure, which are linked to inflammation and cellular damage, which is why we talked about how it would help with that. Now, I read a little bit about research. So research suggests that they may support heart health by helping to protect the blood vessels and reducing the oxidative stress. And there also have been studies for their potential role in gut health because they interact with the gut bacteria in a beneficial way. I love it. So one of the reasons pomegranates stand out is that these compounds are relatively rare in other fruits. So this is where you want to go, okay? The anthocyanins are the natural pigments that give the pomegranate their deep red color on those varieties that are deep red. And you'll find them in other red, purple, and blue fruits as well, like, you know, a lot of the berries or red cabbage, some of the darker onions. And so these compounds are well known for their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. And in pomegranates, the anthocyanins are associated with support for cardiovascular health, brain health, which we haven't mentioned yet, and cellular protection. They also play a role in protecting the fruit itself from environmental stresses. So that I thought was really interesting, right? Because many of the same protective qualities are benefiting us when we eat them, which makes total sense. But you don't always think about that. Now, ellagic acid is a polyphenol that's formed from the punicalagins. Am I getting it yet? When they're broken down during digestion. So these compounds has been widely studied for its potential antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and cell protective effects. So it's also known for supporting gut health, which we mentioned, because it interacts with the gut microbes, and it converts into compounds that can help with the gut lining. The allogenic acid has been researched for its potential role in like supporting cellular repair and healthy aging, which is one of the reasons pomegranates are often described as the, have you heard of this? Longevity supporting fruit. And so that's cool. Now we know why. These compounds are just powerful antioxidant. I can't say it enough. And there's plenty of research that shows how the antioxidants and nutrients help, right? So we mentioned some already, and I just want to keep mentioning them because it's so amazing. Cardiovascular support, anti-inflammatory effects, gut health support, potential benefits for blood pressure even as well. There's also emerging research on the brain and cognitive health, which I thought was really interesting and so cool. So some of the studies suggest that the polyphenols in the pomegranates, especially the compounds like the punicalagins and the anthocyanins, may help reduce the oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain. Both of which are linked to cognitive decline, as we age. But there's also earlier research looking at how pomegranates may support blood flow to the brain and help protect brain cells from damage over time. Wow. So, but this is still an evolving area of research. So, but I think it's promising, especially when we can think about pomegranates as part of an overall dietary pattern that supports long-term brain health. I mean, who doesn't want our brain to be healthy? I know I do. Okay, so here is a question. Have you removed the seeds before in one of these guys? And if so, how did you remove them from the pomegranate? Let me know. And meanwhile, I'm going to just check the chat to see if there's anything else going on it. Okay, and there isn't. So yeah, let me know. Have you guys removed the seeds before? Number one. And if you have, what was your technique? Like, how did you do it? Pomegranates are incredibly versatile. So I just wanted to share some other ways, different ways that you can use them. You can certainly sprinkle them on salads or use them as part of the main part of the salad. You can put them in grain bowls. You can use them in savory dishes. And I was trying to think of like, well, what's an example of a savory dish? So maybe like a quinoa tabbouleh with pomegranate seeds. That would be such a pretty savory dish. Or maybe a lentil and pomegranate salad. So maybe mixing your green salad or and the pomegranates with lentils. Oh, that sounds pretty too. You can use them for salad dressings. You can use them for sauces, desserts. Put them in breakfast bowls, juices, even soups, even hummus. You could sprinkle them on hummus, and you can even put like a little bit of chopped up dill or pine nuts. I mean, how beautiful is that? Or just leave out the pine nuts and just have a sprinkle of the pomegranate seeds. Beautiful, beautiful. And in addition to the health benefits that we had just mentioned earlier, pomegranates add things to your dish that are really good for us to look at, like brightness, acidity, texture. It's the beautiful pop of color. And, when we look at dishes, um, we tend to get excited about it, and it starts our saliva glands going. And so they wake up a dish too. So if something tastes maybe flat, try the pomegranate arils, because they can change everything. And I also think that they can bring a dish into a more festive looking dish, right? When you add them on top of something, like I mentioned, the hummus and the green salad, which is really fun. So let's see. How do you remove the seeds from a pomegranate? And have you done this before? What do we have here, Todd? Oh, okay. Marilyn Dubin says, yes, with a spoon. Oh, I wonder exactly how you do that. Mona Arendt says, yes, with a lot of difficulty. Tried under water, beating and pulling apart. And that's quite the face that she gave in an emoji. And it looks like, yeah. Okay. And Jill Caperton says, have not. I haven't eaten a pomegranate since I was a kid. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope that this inspires you to try one now that you're a grown up. Okay, so let's talk about how to seed a pomegranate, as well as I'm going to show you. And we're going to try a few things together that I haven't done. So we're going to try a water method. And I'm going to show you kind of how I do it when I break it open. And so I'm going to move our fantastic, fun, festive guys out of the way just temporarily. And I think I'm going to try to open maybe this one and this one. Okay, so for now, we'll put some of these aside. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is, oh, wait a minute, which one? No, I think I'll do one of these and one of these. Okay, so one of each side, and we'll see, or whatever. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to score the rind, okay? So the way that, there was a time when I would just cut it, and then I would cut the back. And when you take that piece off, you lose and break open some of those seeds. So I since then have learned to score it, right? Score it like you would a pumpkin, okay? And so I'm gonna do that now. And I'm just gonna, this is kind of a big knife, but I'm gonna see if I can kind of score it alongside here and see if we can save some of those. And I'm just going to go around like a little hat. And let's see what happens here, all the way to the end. And then I do have a spoon here. I am going to use a spoon, but you could also use your fingers. Okay, so look I scored it. I want everybody to see I scored it. And I tried to do it, you know, kind of the way that it follows. Yeah, go ahead. That it follows the lines, kind of like a pumpkin would. And you can look inside here and look, this cap, so to speak, this hat, this crown, it just should come right off. There we go. And I didn't lose anything. I didn't lose anything. And so this isn't perfect. So I can just keep peeling a few more of these little areas off there. And there you go. Look at that. I might even, you know, just want to clean it up just a hair. And so that right there is an improvement for me from the way that I used to do it. Okay, now the next thing you're going to want to do is score the sides. So we talked about how you're going to want to get it not to be super round, but you're going to want to have these flat sides. So and with the flat side, I'm trying to show you, there's like a bump here. You know, you can definitely feel it. I hope you can see it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to score the bumps. And why is that? Because, go ahead and do an overhead for a minute, Todd. So if you look really closely, can you see this like white right here? That's a section. And I don't know, and this is a section. So here's another one. And those sections line up with this bump here. And so we're going to want to score down those sections. So if you're looking at the top, you could do it, or you can just go with the bump. And you want to go as far down as you can. You don't have to go all the way down. And there's usually about 6 or so of these little sections. And you just take your time. You don't have to use a big giant knife like I am. Use whatever you feel comfortable with. And just keep going around, going around, going around. Now I left the sticker on here. I did rinse it, but it's a good thing to wash it really well ahead of time. And I am scoring a little bit. You can see a little bit of the juice. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to just kind of pry these open a little bit. Let's see, I'm trying to do it the best way that you guys can see. So just kind of pry this open. Oh yeah, here it comes. Look at this. Oh, I love this. This is so exciting. Okay, now you don't have to lay it out like I am, but I'm trying to really show you. This piece in the middle, you could just take it off. Look, there was only a couple of seeds on here, and that's probably because of the way I cut it. So this is a piece that you can, put on the side and discard. And look what we have here. That is so pretty. Now, some of the ways that you can do this now is you can so what I would do at this point, if it were me, not if it were me, this is what I was doing is I just take one of these pieces and I put it in like this little cup here and I go on my way eating them, But if you want to do it where you can take it by the spoonful and use it like this, then there's a few ways to do it. Now I do have this waterway. I thought we would try this together. I've tried it. It's been a while. I decided not to do it ahead of time because I wanted to do it with you. So it would be real life. And I also have a wooden spoon. And so different ways that I've heard is that you can take it and you could put the whole thing in the water. And but I'm going to just peel a piece off because I want to use this for different parts. So you could just take it off, right? And then you could just put it under the water and you can just kind of rub it, and then they're supposed to just kind of come off. Rub it. Kind of messy. Yeah, go for it. You can see. But it will come off. And the reason for the water is that the white part there, that's like the pithy part, this, you don't want to eat that. It's not good. And so it usually will float to the top of the water, and then it will allow, let's see, I'll try to put a piece in there and see. And then it will allow you to strain it or whatever. So, and this is how you do, you just go along until you get it all out of here. Okay, another way, well, now I just want to see if I can do it a little faster. Another way is to take this spoon and hit it, but I want to hit it a bigger piece just to give it a fair shot. And they do just kind of fall off, and you can't really, I'm trying to see if you could see. If I beat it sideways. So what do you think? I mean, that's kind of nice. Some people put it under the water. There's no other real simple, easy way that I know of, but you can do this. And people say in general, about 10 minutes, and you can get the whole thing done. And some people don't want to spend 10 minutes doing that. So then they buy it already ready to go. But this way, having it fresh, I just think it's lovely. And so anyways, all right. So I wonder if I should let's see. Do we have any questions? I mean, look, it's just peeling right off with my hand. Now, this is something that people also say, or that I've heard, it is messy. But it's less messy if you're using water, okay? Some people don't like using the spoon method because it can, splash around or, shoot out. I didn't notice that, did you? We didn't really have that problem. Okay, so here, I got all of that. And you can see that the pithy part is kind of floating. Can you see that? Todd, you might need to, can you put an overhead so that they can just see? There's not very much of it. I'm just putting all of this in here. And even though we didn't do all of it. So you can see how this is floating. Okay, and so what you could do is take a spoon or something and you could just kind of, you know, strain it that way. And then once you get all of these pieces off, you know, all of this pith off, you can go ahead and then pour it through some kind of colander or something like this and drain all the water and see what you have left. Now, I'm going to show you the difference between one that's freshly done and this one over here that I had over here, these that's done for us. Those were done for us. Okay, so you get the picture here. All right, and I mean, gosh, I could even like do it with my fingers. Maybe not as good of an idea. Okay, so then I just want to go ahead and drain this and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I have to drain it over here. Now, because I stopped, because I want to show you that when I poured it, I didn't pour it very fast, and you could see that it caught some more of that white part of it that we don't want to eat. So then I can rinse this off and finish pouring, and I'll have, again, gotten rid of more. So that's kind of what's going on here. Let me just finish rinsing this. Now, I think it would be fun. How are we doing on time? We're always running behind. I was going to say, I think it would be fun to do the smaller one just to see what the pattern looks like. But you get the idea. And so I'm going to set this aside for now and finish doing that later. But here we go. Look what we did. These are beautiful. These are beautiful. Look at how beautiful they are. Do you see the difference in the color versus this one? This one just looks, the color, maybe the color is not, the shininess is what I'm going for. And I don't know if you could tell the way that I can, but let's see. Anyways, these are really deep and they just look like fresh, and I don't know. What do you think, Todd? You're here in person. What do you think?
They look deep and fresh.
You're not really going to tell us. Okay. All right. So let me rinse my hands and we're going to move on. That was fun. I'm going to taste one. Oh, yummy, yummy. And just get this guy out of here and move a little bit of stuff so that we can start our recipe. Oh, Todd's already into it. He's sneaking a little taste here and there. How does it taste? Tell everyone.
Oh, they're very nice.
You should have come over here and done it if you wanted.
I can do it from over there also.
Okay, let me just move a little bit this out of the way. Sorry for the delay, you guys. Okay, so I'll have one too. There's a couple here that I'm finding. Okay, so yes, in the water, supposedly less mess, less staining. They do stain, and supposedly, you know, a calmer experience because you're one with the water. You just have to give yourself a good 10 minutes. And then, of course, you can store them in the refrigerator for several days or freeze them like we talked about. And so now at this point, I would like to make a very simple dessert recipe today using pomegranates, one that highlights their natural brightness, texture, and how beautifully they work in whole food plant-based cooking. So I'm going to share two recipes. The first one is a pomegranate pistachio cluster. And then the other one is a pomegranate pistachio chocolate bark. Okay, you guys. So can you put the recipe up for that one? Okay, so let me grab a couple of things here. And then we're going to make this. And it's so simple to do this. So we're going to start with the cluster and we're going to get some pomegranate seeds. Let me start moving some of this over here. So I'm sorry to have my back towards you. Give me just a second. And I'm going to bring this over. Da, 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 da. Okay. So let me move this over. I think that there's not enough room on the tray, so I'm just taking things off this tray so that it can we can talk about stuff. Now, some of the things that I have on this tray are optional, like the sea salt. You don't have to do that. I prefer no salt, but my husband and sometimes people that I'm sharing this with would prefer it. So that's why I have it out here. Okay, so some of the things that we're going to use, I'm just going to move this over here really quickly. And there we go. All right. Got my glasses, got everything going. Let's see, I'm going to move these a little bit too. Okay, so we are going to start with some chocolates. Who doesn't like chocolate? I certainly do. All right, let me just see here. This was probably not the best way to do this, but I've got some different kinds of chocolates. And so depending on what you can find, I like these. These are great. These are just dates. I use these a lot. I share a lot of these. But you want a vegan dark chocolate. And these are date sweetened and they're vegan. And they don't have any sugar added, which is why I really like them. This is another brand that I really like, just to share. It's called Hue, Get Back to Human, it says. And these are semi-sweet baking chips. And they have different ones, no refined sugar, no cane sugar, all these things that are no, which is really great. And then I also have this one, which is Enjoy Life. This is another one. And these are some mega chunks. These are, dairy-free, gluten-free, all those things. So you decide what works for you. But I got to tell you, I've made these with chocolate bars before that are vegan ones, and I didn't really care for how they came out because they were very thin. So for today, I'm going to use these. I think that'll be fun. So let me put these aside. And the first thing we're going to want to do is get a scissors because I always like to cut everything. And I'm just going to put in a cup of these into I'm putting them in this bowl right here. Do you want to do an overhead, babe, for a second? So I've got a cup here. This is a cup's worth. And then I'm just going to put it in a microwave safe dish. Now, I'm going to do microwave today because I feel like it's important for speed. But you don't have to use a microwave. And I will show you what you can do. So in the microwave, I just like to put it in, depending on your microwave, for about 30 seconds and then check it 30 seconds more and keep doing increments of 30 seconds. I know my microwave, I can do up to 2 minutes, but I think I'm going to do a minute and then we're going to check it 30 and 30. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a minute. And while that's going down, I want to show you, if you wanted to do it on the stove, you would just take, this is my makeshift double broiler. You would just put water in the bottom. And then this particular bowl is heat resistant. I would put that in there, and then I would add my chocolates here. Now, I would want to make the water not boiled, but quite almost to a boil first, and then put the chocolates in there and put a lid on. The one thing you do not want to allow to have happen, you do not want any liquid, any water, anything to drip into the chocolate. It will ruin it. It'll seize up. It will be grainy and not happy. So that's one thing that you don't really have to worry about with the microwave, although, not everybody's happy about using a microwave. And so the other thing that while we're waiting for the chocolate, well, there it goes. So let me just take a peek. It was 1 minute. And you can see, go ahead and let's show everyone that it hasn't done much. It doesn't look like much is happening here. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in again. I'm not going to disturb it. I'm going to go ahead and put it in for another 30 seconds. I could do the full minute because I know my microwave and that should do it, or get it at least close. And so then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take some parchment paper. And I line these. So I've got a baking sheet, and this is like a little one from my Breville, because I'm hoping to have time to do a couple quick things here. And so you just want to line it. And so while the chocolate is going, yep, there it is. I hear it. I'm going to start to bring in, for this recipe, we're going to bring in the pomegranate arils. So let's check this. Let's check this. Okay, I want you to see. You can see, hopefully you can see, around some of the edges, like over here. Let me see. It's starting to pull away. It looks a little melty. So it's getting there, but it's not quite there. So I'm going to put it in for another 30 seconds. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to take a melon baller. I'm going to use the big melon baller, and I'm going to do a scoop. I'm going to be using approximately a cup of these pomegranate arils. And so I'm just going to be putting it, just a scoop here, and going about my business here. And let's see, just scoop it and put it on here. Yep, and there it goes. I hear it. I hear it. Okay, and that should be about a cup. Maybe I'll do a little bit more. Oh, I'm doing more. It's usually 6. I'm getting crazy. I don't know if we're going to actually have enough with that chocolate, but I'm doing it anyways. And then what you're going to want to do, you can use this thing or a spoon, and you're just going to want to, let me move this out of the way, spread them so that they're kind of flat and in kind of a cluster, a little, you know, kind of a circular shape. Now, why do we want to do that? Well, because when we're going to be kind of drizzling the chocolate over this, and we want it to be able to grab hold of each one of the pomegranate seeds. And if it's kind of, if it's not flattened, you may lose some on the tray here, and that would not be good. Now, what's so great about this, there's no baking involved, just melting of the chocolate. And so here we go. Let me do this last guy. And so there, so you could do this ahead of time before you start melting the chocolate. But for the clusters, this is how it should look. Nice and flat, and just in, you know, this guy looks like he rolled away, just in little sections. Usually I do 6. I don't know if we're going to end up being able to do the rest, but now let's go back and check the chocolate, and it's still continuing to look good. I want to show you. Let's see. I don't know if you could see that it's kind of like melting. It's a little moving. I want to just see. The lighting is not that great. Can you see this over here? It's kind of melty. Todd says, yes, you can. So what you could do at this point is we could try it. And then I'm going to take a regular spoon that is dry. And this one looks like it got something on it. So I want to make sure that it's really dry. We do not want to seize the chocolate. No moisture on the chocolate, okay, at this point. So nice and dry. And then I'm just going to stir it and see if it's melty enough. If it's not, I can put it in for another 30 seconds, but let's see. And it looks pretty good, but I think just for speed, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in for another 30 seconds. So that will be 2 minutes and 30 seconds for me. Once I've done one and I do it again, then it seems to go faster. I think that's just my microwave. But of course, if you're doing it on here, you're going to want to do the same thing. Let it melt so that you really see it melt, and it gets like a shininess to it. And then you can go ahead and start to stir it. Now, it can be ready just like that, or you can do what I like to do with some of it. I like to do it plain, just the chocolate melted over here, or you can add something like some of these extracts if you're into that. Some people don't like extract. I would not do a bean powder because it wouldn't work well. Here, do you want to show the overhead while I stir this, babe? And so you can see, look at that, see? It's nice and melty now. So we are ready to go. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is add a little flavor. Now, I have all different kinds here. You can do a vanilla extract. I've got lemon, almond, mint. I know orange would be amazing, the flavors, but I think I'm going to go with mint. And I also have fresh mint that I will chop and put on top. You could skip this and do the fresh mint only if you want. but I think I'm just going to try this. And so I'm going to do, let's see, should I do 1/4 of a teaspoon or 1/8 of a teaspoon? 1/8 of a teaspoon. Now, sometimes you can taste it, and if it seems like it's not enough, then you can always add another one. But let's see what I have here. I have 1/2 teaspoon. That's what I'm going to use. I'm going to put 2 of these in. Todd was saying no. That's only 1/4. 1/8 and 1/8 is 1/4, and I was saying 1/2. But let's just start with that. So you just want to do it based on your flavor profile, and then I just want to mix it. Okay, and now we're going to start to drizzle it or plop it over the chocolate, over the pomegranate seeds. Now, if you find that your house is cold or that it's not holding the melting, you can go ahead and pop it back in there. That's fine. And let's see. Okay, see, and then we're going to go back over and we are going to spread it around just a little bit. See, this is what I'm thinking I had. Really, it'll do 6, but here I was pushing it. And I don't know if it's going to do the last one very well. But hey, what the heck, I'm going to try. And then I've got this spatula that I just love so much. I'm going to scrape it down. And then there's just a few more things that we're going to add to it while it is melty still. Now, I should have, another thing I should have done, but I didn't, was cut up a few of the other things, chop up a couple of the other ingredients, which I haven't even told you what they are yet. So one of them is pistachio nuts and the mint, which I told you about. And then we've got a few other things, okay? Now, what I would say is you can use the back of the spoon and just kind of spread it, trying not to move it too much because you just want to make sure that you're covering all of the pomegranate seeds without really moving them. And because you want the chocolate to adhere to the pomegranate seeds. So if you need more chocolate than what I'm showing you, then don't do what I'm doing and put 2 extras here. Just do the 6, and then you can add some chocolate to it. And you want to make sure that it's really, really covered. And I think that I would add more chocolate to this because I think that there's some areas where it could use it, like this guy for sure. But I don't know if I have enough here. So let's try it. Da, 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 da. Ooh, gosh. All right. Now that we're going to just for a moment, I want you to see this, and I'm just going to set it aside for a quick minute. And then what I want to do is, what I should have done is, then I'm going to take some, let me see, I'm looking at my recipe. How much did I have here? Oh, the pistachios, 1/4 cup. And these are unsalted. You could do salted. I like the unsalted, pistachios, raw or roasted, depending on your preference. And you want to give it just a rough chop. You don't want this to be, completely like, just, you want a little texture to it is what I'm trying to say here. You want a little texture to it. And I almost did this ahead of time and I thought, no, I'll just cut it together with you guys. Do you see how simple it is? It's just really simple to do that. And then I'm just going to set it aside. And then I'm also going to take some of these mint leaves and just chop them up. Now, I would recommend actually doing this before you start with the chocolate, but I got excited, so I didn't. And then another thing that we're going to add, if you want, are hemp seeds. So we're ready to go here. Let me bring this back while it's still, not totally cooled. And then what I want to do is I want to just take a few of these and I just want to sprinkle them on top. Whatever you like. If you like a lot of them, put a lot of them. If you just want a couple of them, put a couple of them. If you want it, a smaller chop, then chop it up a little finer. You don't have to do the clumps or the chunks. You just want to do what makes you happy. And this is going to be delicious no matter what. Now, I have some hemp hearts. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle some hemp hearts. Now, a lot of people like salt, right? So if you want to add salt with the hemp hearts, you could, or you could just do the salt. I kind of like to do the hemp hearts instead of salt, but my family, like I said, they like it. So I try to mix it up. And then if for these with the mint, I'm just putting a little bit of mint, fresh mint leaf on there. There we go. And this is done. Now, what do? We put them in the freezer for about an hour, and then we can take it out. I have some already made that I'm going to show you, but let's see, are we okay? I know we're running over. I'm just going to keep going. I want to show you one other way, and that is a bark, and then we'll taste them. And I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. So I'm going to go ahead and do it the same way. I'm going to go ahead with the chocolate. And I know that this rest of it is about a cup. So I'm just going to pour them in there and melt it. And then we're going to do the bark. Whoops. There's some sticking on here. You guys got to get melted. So anything going on in the chat, I'm going to just put 2 minutes.
John Jew is in the house.
Hey, John Jew, welcome. So glad to have you and glad to have everyone. We always enjoy having everyone. I use this Celtic sea salt when I am going to use salt. So maybe I'll sprinkle it a little bit on the next one on part of it, just so you guys can see. And like I said, you don't have to use a flavor. And this is basically the same ingredients. Let's see. Except we're just going to do it differently. So instead of starting with the pomegranates and a scooper here, we're going to start with the chocolate. And so I'm going to get a smaller pan to show you. And this one also I got out of my Breville. So it's just a small, sheet. And then we're going to pour it on here and we're going to shape it. You can shape it into a rectangle. You can shape it into a circle. You can shape it into a square. I like to kind of just see how much I'm working with and spread it. Now, you don't want to do too thin of a spread and you don't want to do too thick. You just want to try to get as even as you can because you want to be able to hold it. And so let's check this because this has been going already. And it's looking good. 1 more minute. There we go. And so we've got everything ready to go for this one. I think what I might do while I have a couple extra seconds is just chop this a little bit more, just so that we have it a little bit more on the chopper. There's all kinds of different things that you could do to be creative with this recipe, but I really just liked showing you these for now. And okay, so we are almost ready, you guys. Oh, I just want to do another little Happy New Year thing there. And we've got 30 seconds, maybe not even needed. Let's see. Oh, it looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and see if this is going to work. So here we go again. You can see how it's looking. It's looking pretty good. You see that? How it's like sliding? You can tell. Look at that. Look, see how it's just melting? Just melting. Oh, isn't that great? Now, I'm not going to add any kind of extract. I'm just going to keep this one the way it is. Now, the extract, if it's cold, it can, and it is a liquid, so it can cause a problem. So you don't want to put a lot in, even though, when I say cause a problem, I mean like seize it up. But as you saw, it worked for us. So you just have to be careful. Look at this. Look at this, you guys. Look. Well, there's a little bit left there. And you just want to mix it. Mix, 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 mix. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? Such a silky looking chocolate. No harm, no dairy, vegan chocolate. All right, so what I'm going to do now is pour this on my tray. So the last one we did the pomegranate seeds first, and this one we're going to do the chocolate first. I'm going to use my little trusty spatula, and I am just going to pour it right on here. Isn't that wonderful? Yay. Get as much as you can. And if it looks like you need more, you can double the recipe. But I feel like this amount is very easy to control, in terms of like, you don't want the chocolate to all of a sudden be hard to handle because you had too much and now it's cooling and this and that. So then you just want to take the spatula or spoon, whatever, and you just want to spread it out. Just spread it out and make your shape. And that is the hardest part of this whole recipe, which is not hard at all. Look at this. And I have one of these already made as well. And so we'll be tasting these and sharing our thoughts with these, because there's no other way to get this to be in the refrigerator for an hour with you guys here live. So I did it ahead of time, and we'll taste it together. So there you go. You can just do whatever shape. This is not the prettiest square I've ever made, but for time's sake, I'm going to go with it. So let me rinse my finger off, and then I want to dry it really well, right? We don't want any water at all. And then we're just going to go ahead and start putting our toppings on. So we're going to start with the pomegranate seeds. And I'm just putting whatever I want. Put a lot, put a little, spread it. It's just really fun to do with people. If you have family members, your kids, your grandkids, your partner, it's always fun. Or you could just do it on your own, and then you get to sample everything, which is really fun. So you want to just, put as much as you want on here. And like I said, I would do a cup of the vegan dark chocolate, a cup of the pomegranate seeds. We're going to do some pistachio nuts. And I would do up to a quarter cup, but this is just, whatever you want. See, look at how pretty that is. And I just put it on here. Oh my gosh, isn't that great looking? Now you don't like pistachio nuts? Okay, use a different nut. There is no real rule here other than, in order for it to work, it's got to be on the chocolate. Now, here we go again. I'm not going to put the mint leaves. You could, but remember, I didn't do mint here. And so I'm going to go ahead and put some hemp seeds on part of it. You don't have to put hemp seeds or salt. You could just leave it. And for my husband, I am going to add a little salt. And for those of you that enjoy that, and I'm just going to put it on this half. Now, if you want, you could do hemp and the sea salt, and that would be fine as well. Okay, so here we go. Do you want to show this? So we've got, this is our pomegranate pistachio chocolate bark, and this one is our cluster. These are our mint clusters. So you would put these in the freezer for an hour. Now I'm going to go grab the ones that I have, and I'm going to have Todd get festive and come and try with me. So let me just grab these. Oh, you know what? I took them out of the freezer already. They are in the refrigerator. And so that's where I'm headed. And maybe you can look at these on your way here, honey. Would you? Let's see. Let me close the refrigerator. And I want to show you, because before you come in, would you do an overhead just so they can see? And then you'll come in and we can taste everything. So these are the clusters. Aren't they pretty? Let me just pick one up just to show you. Look at. See? Isn't that nice? Oh my gosh. And they're just ready to go, and they peel right up. And this one is the bark. Now I did some of this. I think this one on the top is a mint, and it doesn't have any salt, and it doesn't have any hemp seeds, whereas this one does have a lot of stuff. And oh no, part of it has hemp, part of it has salt, part of it has nothing. So the other thing is, when it gets to this point, come on in, sweetie, is that you can go ahead and break it. So we can break it up into the bark pieces.
I'm too tall for this with my hat on. Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, so are you ready to taste some bark?
I've been ready for like 45 minutes.
Okay, let's do the clusters first. So go ahead. You want to just take one or you want to take a bite? They have different ones on the top. I think that this one is a salted one. And just make sure that it doesn't fall on the floor.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go with this one. Whoops. Did something drop? No.
I do not know.
Okay, here we go.
Ready?
Uh-huh. Mmm. Mmm. It's juicy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really juicy. Mmm. Yummy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
So
You can't
good.
talk. So good? You like it?
Yeah.
What do you like about that one? Because that one is...
Everything.
Oh, really? I really like
It's juicy and chocolatey and...
You like the nuts with it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what could go wrong?
And so this is the cluster, and it's easy to hold. Okay, now we have to move on. You'll have to eat that later. We don't have to, but okay. Now I have not cut these before or breaking them. I thought we would break it together. So, so this one is the mint, and yeah, you could just literally break it into pieces. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. That looks nice. And then serve it on a platter.
Okay.
Now this is kind of a thinner one.
Yep.
And so there we go. So go ahead and try a piece of that one.
I'm going double fisted.
Okay. Okay. Look at you
bark
go.
And cluster. Bark
I'm going to
and
try
cluster,
one
bark
too.
and cluster.
Ready?
Okay.
Wow,
really good.
That's the mint.
This is fantastic.
You love the mint?
I love it all, but
that's really, really good. And so this one is another one. It's just the same, but as the cluster is similar, I could break it apart, but yum. Well, now how would you compare the flavors between the two? Because I think people would like to know.
One's minty.
One's minty. But can you taste the pomegranate? The pomegranate for me offered a lot of juiciness, and it wasn't sweet like, you know, like overpowering. It blended so nicely together.
It's nice. It's really nice.
So that's something that we thought we would share with you today.
Those are fantastic. I'm going to eat that whole thing as soon as we're done.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so pomegranates, I just want to say, are ancient, but they're incredibly relevant today. And they remind us that food can be nourishing and meaningful. Old traditions can still have something to teach us. Variety matters for health. And sometimes the most powerful foods are the ones that we slow down for, okay? So I hope today inspired you to try pomegranates in a new way, and that you learned something that you may not have already known about this superfood. Just last minute, anybody have any last minute comments or anything that you could share with me, Todd? While I get my...
Mona says it looks fabulous.
Oh, I hope you try it. It's so simple and so delicious. And it really, I think my favorite is with the mint. I really do. What do you think? Is that your favorite, or you just liked them both?
I mean, they're both fantastic. I'm going to
All
eat
right.
them both.
Okay, well, again, I want to thank you all for hanging out with me, hanging out with us, and I appreciate you staying over and hopefully discovering something new about pomegranates, and maybe even trying one of these two recipes or both. And so, like I always like to say, don't forget, everybody, don't forget to eat your greens. These greens are so powerful. And give, and I mean it, give plants a chance. And I just want to wish everyone a very happy and plant-filled New Year. Hopefully that was okay in your ear. We're looking forward to seeing you live in 2026. Take care, everyone, and bye for now.